Somewhere in the world, bells still ring not for urgency, but for memory, timing, and the marking of peace. This story moves slowly, like sound drifting through evening air, where every tone reminds the body it is safe to let go. Listen without effort. Sleep will arrive on its own. Tonight's story is The Last Bell Ringer. Chapter 1. The Town at the Edge of Stillness. There is a place where the sea meets the land so gently that you cannot tell where one ends and the other begins. The water there moves like breathing, in and out, in and out. And the town that sits beside this water has learned to breathe the same way. The town is called Bellhaven. It is a small place, a quiet place, the kind of place where nothing much happens, and that is precisely why people love it so. The houses in Bellhaven are made of pale gray stone that has been smoothed by centuries of salt air. Their roofs are the color of weathered copper, green and soft, like moss on an old forest floor. The streets are narrow and wind in gentle curves, never going anywhere in a hurry. Why would they? There is nowhere urgent to be in Bellhaven. In the morning, the fog rolls in from the harbor. It moves slowly, like a great soft blanket being pulled over the town. It fills the spaces between the houses. It settles in the gardens. It wraps around the old lighthouse at the end of the pier. And the people of Bellhaven wake to this fog and smile, because they know it means another peaceful day. The shops in Bellhaven open late and close early. There is a bakery that makes only 3 kinds of bread. There's a bookshop that sells books so old their pages have turned the color of honey. There is a tea house where the chairs are worn smooth from years of people, sitting and saying nothing much at all. And at the very center of town, rising above everything else, there is the bell tower. The bell tower of Bellhaven is not like other bell towers. It does not belong to a church or a city hall. It belongs to the town itself. It has always been there, for as long as anyone can remember. The stones of the tower are darker than the stones of the houses, almost black in places, stained by time and weather and the slow accumulation of years. Inside the tower, there are 112 steps. They spiral upward in a gentle curve, worn smooth in the center from generations of footsteps. The walls are thick, and once you begin to climb, the sounds of the town below fade away. All you can hear is your own breathing and the soft sound of your feet on the ancient stone. At the top of those stairs there is a room. It is not a large room. It is just large enough for one person and the bells. The bells of Bellhaven, they hang in a row, each one slightly larger than the last. The smallest is no bigger than a teacup. The largest is the size of a small boat turned upside down. They are made of bronze that has darkened with age until it is almost the color of evening. And for as long as anyone can remember, someone has climbed those stairs each day to ring those bells. That someone is called the bell ringer. In the old language of the region, they are called the campanologist. It is a gentle word. The current bell ringer of Bellhaven is a man named Aldrich Thornwood. He has been climbing those 112 steps for 47 years. Every morning at sunrise, every evening at sunset, in rain and fog and the occasional snow, in the blazing heat of summer and the deep cold of winter. Aldrich is 73 years old now. His hair is the color of the winter sea, gray and white and silver all at once. His hands are large and gentle, with fingers that have learned every curve and surface of those 7 bells. His eyes are pale blue, the color of the sky just before dawn, and there are deep lines around them from a lifetime of squinting into the light. He lives in a small cottage at the base of the bell tower. It is a simple place. One room for sleeping, one room for sitting, one room for making tea. That is all he needs. That has always been all he needs. His cottage has one window that faces the harbor. From this window, Aldrich can see the boats coming and going. He can see the fog rolling in. He can see the sun rising and setting over the water. He has seen these things so many times that they have become part of him, as familiar as his own hands, as comfortable as his own bed. On this particular evening, as our story begins, Aldrich is sitting in his chair by the window. The sun is beginning its slow descent toward the horizon. The light is turning gold, then amber, then the deep orange of dying embers. Soon, it will be time to climb the stairs and ring the evening bells. But for now, Aldrich is simply sitting, simply breathing, simply being. The fire in his small hearth crackles softly. The kettle on the stove makes its gentle singing sound. Outside, a gull calls once, then twice, then falls silent. The evening is settling in, the way evenings do in Belhaven. Gently, without any fuss at all, Aldrich closes his eyes and listens to the silence. It is not an empty silence. It is a full silence, rich with the sounds of peace, the distant murmur of the sea, the occasional creak of his old cottage settling into itself, the soft tick of the clock on the mantel that his father gave him, which his grandfather gave his father, which has been marking time in this cottage for longer than anyone can remember. Soon, he thinks, soon it will be time, but not yet, not quite yet. There is still time to sit, still time to breathe, still time to let the evening wrap itself around him like a warm blanket. And so he sits, and so he breathes. And so the evening grows deeper, and the light grows softer, and the world grows quiet in the way that only Belhaven knows how to be quiet. Change is coming to Belhaven. It moves as slowly as the fog, as gently as the evening light. But it is coming all the same. For Aldrich Thornwood, the last bell ringer of Belhaven, is growing tired. And soon, very soon, someone will need to learn to climb those 112 steps in his place. Chapter 2. The Sound of 7 Bells. The sun has dropped lower now. The light through Aldrich's window has turned from amber to rose, and he knows it is time. He rises slowly from his chair. His joints protest, as they do every evening now, but it is a familiar protest, almost a greeting. Hello, old bones, he thinks. Time for our climb. He takes his coat from the hook by the door. It is a heavy wool coat, the color of deep brown earth, worn soft from years of wearing. He puts it on slowly, one arm at a time, feeling the familiar weight of it settle onto his shoulders. Outside, the air is cool and smells of salt. The cobblestones are damp from the fog that rolled through earlier. His footsteps sound soft and muffled as he walks the short distance to the tower door. The door is made of oak that has turned nearly black with age. The handle is iron, cold to the touch even in summer. Aldrich wraps his fingers around it and pulls. The door swings open without a sound. He oiled the hinges just last week, as he does every week, as he has done for 47 years. Inside, The tower smells of stone and time. There is no other way to describe it. It smells old, smells old. It smells like something that has been waiting quietly for centuries. Aldrich begins to climb. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. His hand trails along the wall, feeling the smooth stone, feeling the slight dampness that never quite goes away. His breathing finds its rhythm, slow and steady, matching his footsteps. 10 steps, 20. The light from the doorway below fades as he climbs. The tower has small windows cut into its walls at intervals, just enough to let in the evening glow. The light through these windows is the color of honey, thick and warm. 30 steps, or 40. Aldrich counts without thinking. His body knows these stairs better than his mind does. His feet find their places automatically, his muscles remembering the exact height and depth of each worn step. 50 steps, 60, halfway now. He pauses for a moment, not because he needs to, but because he likes to. He likes to stand here in the middle of the climb and feel the silence of the tower around him. Above, the bells wait. Below, the town goes about its evening business. And here, in the middle, there is nothing but stone and stillness. 70 steps, 80. His breathing is deeper now, but still steady, still rhythmic. In and out, like the sea, like the town, like everything in Belhaven. 90 steps, 100, almost there. He can feel the air changing, growing cooler, moving with the slight breeze that always finds its way into the bell chamber. 112. Aldrich emerges into the bell room and stands for a moment, catching his breath, letting his eyes adjust to the light. The bell room is beautiful. That is the only word for it. The walls are open on all sides, with low arches that look out over the town and the harbor and the sea beyond. The floor is made of the same dark stone as the rest of the tower, but here it has been worn smooth as glass by generations of bell ringers standing in the same spots, reaching for the same ropes. And the bells. Oh, the bells. They hang from a heavy wooden frame that has been here since the tower was built. 7 bells, each one perfect, each one essential. The smallest, which Aldrich calls Whisper, is on the far left. It has a high, clear voice, like a bird calling at dawn. Next to it hangs Murmur, slightly larger, with a tone that vibrates in your chest. Then comes Sigh, and Hum, and Breath. The 6th bell is called Heart. It is the one Aldrich loves best, though he would never say so. Its voice is deep and warm, like a fire on a cold night, like a word of comfort when you need it most. And the 7th bell, the largest, is called Home. When home rings, you can feel it in your bones. It sounds like exactly what it is named for, like coming back to a place you belong, like the end of a long journey, like rest. Aldrich walks to his position, the same position where he has stood for 47 years, where his father stood before him, and his grandfather before that. The ropes hang in front of him, worn smooth from countless hands, marked with faint stains from countless palms. He takes a breath. The sun is touching the horizon now, just kissing the edge of the sea. In a moment, it will begin to sink beneath the water. And when that happens, Aldrich will begin to ring. This is the way it has always been. The evening bells ring as the sun sets, calling the day to its close. They ring in a specific pattern, a pattern that has not changed in all the years that Belhaven has had bells. It is a pattern that the town knows by heart, that children are lulled to sleep by, that old people remember from their own childhoods. The pattern goes like this. First, Whisper, the smallest bell, rings 3 times, high and light, like the first stars appearing in the sky. Then Murmur twice, soft and steady. Then sigh once, long and slow. Then a pause, while the sound fades, while the town listens, while the evening deepens. Then hum and breath together 5 times, their voices weaving around each other like 2 strands of a single thread. Another pause, longer this time. Then heart, ringing alone 7 times, slow and deep and full of feeling. And finally, home. Home rings just once, but it rings for a long time. The great bell swings slowly, its voice filling the air, rolling out over the town and the harbor and the sea, touching every corner of Belhaven with its sound. And then, silence. Perfect silence. The kind of silence that only comes after beautiful sound, when the air is still vibrating with the memory of what it just held. Aldrich watches the sun. He watches it touch the water. He watches the first golden ripples spread across the sea. And then he reaches for the ropes. Whisper 3 times. The sound is high and pure, like light made audible. It rises into the evening air and floats there, shimmering. Murmur twice. Deeper now, richer, blending with the fading echoes of whisper. Aldrich loves this moment. The single, long note that hangs in the air like breath held, like a moment of perfect stillness. Pause. The town is listening. He can feel it. Every window open, every ear turned toward the tower. The children stopping their play. The fishermen looking up from their nets. The shopkeepers pausing in their closing duties. Everyone, everything, held in the spell of the bells. 5 times. 2 voices intertwine, rise, fall, rise again. They sound like a conversation, like old friends talking about nothing important, just enjoying the sound of each other's voices. Pause. Longer now. The light is almost gone. The sky is turning from gold to purple to the deep blue of early night. Heart, feel. 7 times. Aldrich closes his eyes and lets the sound move through him. This bell, this beautiful bell, with its voice like comfort, like love, like everything good and warm and safe. And finally, he pulls the rope slowly, feeling the weight of the great bell moving, feeling it swing out and back, out and back. The sound builds, grows, fills the world. It is not loud, not really. It is simply everywhere. It is the air itself, transformed into sound. Home rings on and on. And then, slowly, slowly, the sound fades. The bell slows its swinging. The last vibrations spread out and disappear into the evening. Silence. Perfect, beautiful silence. Aldrich stands there, hands still on the rope, breathing slowly. This moment of silence after the bells, when the world seems to hold its breath, when everything is exactly as it should be. He stands there for a long time, watching the stars appear one by one, watching the lights of the town begin to glow in windows and doorway. And then, slowly, he turns and begins his descent. 112 steps down, one step at a time, in no hurry. There is never any hurry in Belhaven. Chapter 3. The Keeper of Small Hours. Night has fully arrived in Belhaven. The fog has returned, gentler this time, softer, wrapping around the houses like cotton wool. The street lamps cast circles of golden light that seem to float in the mist, each one an island of warmth in the darkness. Aldrich is back in his cottage now. He has made his evening tea, the same tea he has made every evening for as long as he can remember. It is a simple blend, dried herbs from his own small garden, mixed with leaves that the tea shop owner, old Mrs. Mahy, Waverley, prepares especially for him. The tea tastes like autumn evenings, like wood smoke, like the pages of old books, like home. He sits in his chair by the window, the one that faces the harbor, and holds the warm cup in his hands. The warmth seeps into his fingers, his palms, spreading up through his arms. Outside, the fog moves slowly past his window, dreamlike, unhurried. This is the time of night that Aldrich loves best. Not the busy hours of the day, not even the beautiful moments of the evening bells, but this time, these small hours, when the world has gone quiet and he can simply sit and be. He thinks about the bells. He always thinks about the bells. Even when he is not climbing the tower, not ringing, not listening to their voices, they are with him. They live in his bones, in his blood, in the rhythm of his heart. 7 bells, 7 voices, 7 friends who have been with him through everything. He remembers the first time he climbed the tower stairs. He was 16 years old, following his father, his legs aching by step 50, his lungs burning by step 80. But when he reached the top, when he saw those bells hanging in the golden evening light, everything else fell away. He knew, in that moment, that this was what he was meant to do. His father taught him everything. How to hold the ropes. How to listen for the subtle differences in each bell's voice. How to feel the rhythm of the pattern, not just hear it. How to breathe with the bells so that the ringing became as natural as breathing itself. It took years. Years of climbing, of listening, of practicing. Years of mistakes, of bells rung out of turn, of rhythms lost and found again. But slowly, Aldrich became a bell ringer. He learned to speak the language of the bells, to have conversations with them, to understand their moods and their needs. Bells have moods, you see. On cold days, they ring brighter, sharper, their voices carrying farther in the crisp air. On humid days, they sound fuller, richer, as if the moisture in the air gives them more body. Before a storm, they take on a strange, almost wild quality, as if they can sense the electricity building in the clouds. Aldrich knows all of this. He knows his bells better than he knows anything else in the world. That is why he is tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. Not the kind of tired that a good meal and a warm bed can cure. It is a deeper tired, a tired that comes from 47 years of caring for something, 47 years of climbing and ringing and listening and hoping. He is tired of being the only one who truly understands. The people of Belhaven love their bells. They love hearing them ring at dawn and dusk, love the way a sound wraps around the town like a familiar embrace. But they do not understand them. They hear the sound, but they do not listen to the voices. They feel the vibrations, but they do not know the meaning. Aldrich is the only one who knows, and he is tired of being the only one. He takes a sip of his tea. It has cooled slightly, but it is still warm enough to comfort. Outside, a night bird calls, a single soft note that fades into the fog. He thinks about the future. He tries not to, most days. But tonight, the thoughts come unbidden. He is 73 years old. His father rang the bells until he was 82. But his father was stronger than Aldrich, steadier on the stairs. Aldrich's knees ache now in ways they did not ache 5 years ago. His breath comes shorter on the climb. His fingers, though still nimble on the ropes, have begun to stiffen in the mornings. How many more years does he have? 5? 10? 15, if he is lucky. And then what? There must be someone to ring the bells after he is gone. There has always been someone. Father to son, mother to daughter, master to apprentice. The line has been unbroken since Belhaven first built its tower, first hung its bells. But Aldrich has no children. His wife, Maren, passed away 12 years ago, and they never had children of their own. He has no apprentice either. No one has asked to learn. No one has shown the necessary calling. The bells cannot go silent. That is the one thing Aldrich knows with absolute certainty. If the bells go silent, something in Belhaven will die. Not the town itself, perhaps, but something essential, something that makes Belhaven what it is. The bells must ring. He drains the last of his tea and sets the cup aside. The fire has burned low, just embers now, glowing red and orange in the darkness. He should add more wood. He should stir the coals. But instead, he simply sits, watching the embers pulse like slow heartbeats. Tomorrow, he thinks. Tomorrow, he will begin looking. Tomorrow, he will start asking around the town, quietly, carefully, seeing if there's anyone who might want to learn. Anyone who might have the patience, the dedication, the love required for the bells. Tomorrow. But tonight is for rest. Tonight is for the small hours, the quiet hours, the hours that belong to no one but himself. He closes his eyes and listens to the silence. It is not truly silent, of course. The sea murmurs in the distance. The fog makes soft sounds as it moves past his window. The embers crackle and pop. His own breathing, slow and steady. But beneath all these sounds, he can hear something else. Something that only a campanologist can hear. The bells. Even at rest, even hanging silent in their tower, the bells have a voice. It is not a sound exactly. It is more like a presence. A vibration too low to hear but possible to feel. The bells are always there, always waiting, always ready to sing when called upon. Aldrich smiles in the darkness. His bells. His beautiful, patient, eternal bells. Good night, he thinks to them. Good night, my friends. I will see you in the morning. And somewhere, far above in the dark tower, the bells seem to answer. A shimmer in the air, a whisper, a promise to be there when dawn comes. Aldrich's breathing slows. His body relaxes into the chair. The warmth of the dying fire wraps around him. And slowly, gently, the last bell ringer of Belhaven drifts towards sleep. Chapter 4. The Woman from the Western Shore. Morning comes to Belhaven the way it always does. Slowly, gently, without any rush at all. The fog begins to thin as the first light touches the eastern horizon. The sky turns from black to deep blue to the soft gray of a dove's wing. The sea, which has been invisible in the darkness, begins to reveal itself, silver and still, stretching out to meet the coming dawn. Aldrich has been awake for an hour already. This is his habit, his ritual. He wakes before the light, in the deep quiet of the pre-dawn hours, and he lies in his bed and listens. He listens to the town sleeping. He listens to the sea breathing. He listens to the silence that comes before the bells. When the first hint of color appears in the sky, he rises. He dresses slowly, in the same clothes he has worn for climbing the tower for decades. Simple clothes, practical clothes, dark trousers, worn soft with age, a shirt the color of old canvas, his heavy wool coat. He eats a small breakfast of bread and cheese and tea. He stands at his window and watches the light grow stronger. And when the moment is right, when he can feel it in his bones, he walks to the tower and begins his climb. The morning bells are different from the evening bells. The pattern is lighter, quicker, like someone waking from a pleasant dream. Whisper leads, as always, but this time with a bright, alert quality. The other bells follow in a dancing rhythm, waking the town note by note, calling Belhaven into the new day. When Aldrich finishes ringing and begins his descent, the town below has come alive. He can see people moving in the streets, opening shops, starting their daily routines. The fishing boats are heading out to sea, their sails catching the first morning breeze. The smell of bread from Mrs. Pennywhistle's bakery is already drifting through the air. Aldrich reaches the bottom of the stairs and steps out into the morning. And there, standing in front of the tower door, is someone he has never seen before. She is a young woman, perhaps 30 years old, perhaps a few years more. Her hair is the color of autumn leaves, red and gold and brown all mixed together, tied back from her face in a practical braid. Her eyes are green, a deep green like the sea in summer, and they are looking at him with an expression he cannot quite read. She is wearing traveling clothes, dusty and worn, and there is a pack on her back and a walking stick in her hand. She looks tired, the way people look tired after a long journey. But there is something else in her face too. Something curious, something hungry. "Good morning," she says. Her voice is low and pleasant, with an accent that Aldrich does not recognize. "I hope I am not disturbing you." Aldrich shakes his head. "Not at all. Can I help you with something?" The woman gestures toward the tower. "I heard the bells," she says. "All the way from the harbor. I heard them. I have never heard anything quite like them." Aldrich feels something stir in his chest. A warmth, a hope he had almost forgotten. The bells have touched many people over the years, but rarely does someone speak of them with such wonder, such openness. "They are old bells," he says, "older than anyone knows. They have been ringing in Belhaven for centuries." The woman nods. Her eyes move up the tower, tracing its dark stones, its narrow windows. "Who rings them?" she asks. I do, Aldrich says. The woman looks at him then, really looks, and he sees something change in her expression. Something like recognition, though they have never met. My name is Linnea Ashworth, she says. I come from a village on the western shore, 3 weeks' walk from here. In my village, we had bells too. Not like these. Smaller, simpler, but bells all the same. And I was learning to ring them. She pauses, and Aldrich sees something pass across her face. Pain, perhaps, or loss. Our tower fell in a storm 5 years ago, she continues. The bells were destroyed, and since then, I have been walking, looking for bells, looking for someone who might teach me what I never got to learn. Aldrich is silent for a long moment. The morning moves around them, quiet and patient. A gull calls. A cart rumbles past on the cobblestones. The smell of baking bread grows stronger. Finally, Aldrich speaks. His voice is softer than before, gentler. Would you like to see the bells? He asks. Linnea's face transforms. The tiredness falls away. In its place is something like joy, something like coming home. More than anything, she says. And so, Aldrich turns back to the tower door, and Linnea follows, and they begin to climb, one step at a time. Aldrich watches her as they ascend. He watches the way she touches the walls, the way she listens to the silence, the way her breathing finds the rhythm of the climb. She does not rush. She does not complain about her tired legs or her aching feet. She simply climbs, slowly and steadily, as if she had been climbing these stairs her whole life. By step 50, Aldrich knows. By step 80, he is certain. By step 112, when they emerge into the bell room and Linnea sees the 7 bells hanging in the morning light, tears streaming down her face as she looks at them. Aldrich feels something he has not felt in years. Hope? This is the one, he thinks. This is the one I have been waiting for. And somewhere in the tower, somewhere in the bronze hearts of 7 ancient bells, there is a shimmer of sound, too soft to hear, too real to ignore. The bells know it too. Chapter 5. The First Lesson. The days that follow are unlike any Aldrich has known in years. Linnea takes a room at the inn by the harbor, a small but comfortable room with a window that looks out over the water. She rises each morning before dawn, just as Aldrich does, and walks to the tower to meet him. They climb together. At first, Aldrich simply lets her watch. He rings the morning bells while she stands to the side, observing everything. He watches her watching, and he sees what he hoped to see. She is not just listening to the sounds. She is listening to the spaces between the sounds. She is feeling the vibrations in the air, the way the bells speak to each other, the way the pattern flows and breathes. After the morning bells, they stay in the tower, and Aldrich begins to teach. This is Whisper, he says, laying his hand on the smallest bell. She has the highest voice. She is always eager, always ready to sing, but she must be treated gently. Too hard to pull, and she becomes shrill. Too soft, and she will not speak at all. Linnea nods, her green eyes intent. Try, Aldrich says. Linnea reaches for the rope. Her hands are smaller than Aldrich's, but strong. He can see calluses on her palms from her years of walking. her years of working, her years of living. She pulls. The sound that emerges is not quite right. Too sharp, too sudden, but it is a beginning. It is the first step on a very long road. Again, Aldrich says. Linnea pulls again. Better this time. Closer to what Whisper wants to say. Again. By the fifth pull, Linnea has found it. The bell rings clear and true, its voice rising into the morning air like a bird taking flight. Aldrich smiles. His first real smile in a very long time. Good, he says. Very good. They work their way through all 7 bells. Each one has its own personality, its own needs, its own secrets. Murmur likes a steady, even pull, prefers a longer pause between rings. Hum and breath must be rung together, their ropes pulled at exactly the same moment, or their voices will clash instead of blend. Heart requires patience. It is the most temperamental of the bells, the most demanding. Some days, it sings beautifully. Other days, it seems stubborn, reluctant, holding back its full voice. And home. Home requires everything. Strength and gentleness, power and control, the ability to let the great bell swing at its own pace, to surrender to its rhythm, rather than trying to impose your own. Linnea struggles with home. Everyone does it first. The bell is simply too big, too heavy, too much for a beginner to handle. Do not worry, Aldrich tells her. Home will come to you in time. For now, just watch. Just listen. Just feel. And so she watches. She listens. She feels. The days pass. 1 week. 2 weeks. 3. The people of Belhaven begin to notice the young woman who walks to the tower each morning, who climbs the stairs with the old bell ringer, who emerges hours later with rope burns on her hands and a look of deep concentration on her face. Some of them are curious. Some of them are suspicious. Belhaven does not see many strangers, and strangers who stay are even rarer. But Aldrich vouches for her. He tells them she is learning the bells. He tells them she has the gift, the calling, the love that the bells require. And because Belhaven trusts Aldrich, because he has rung their bells faithfully for 47 years, they accept his word. Linnea becomes a familiar sight in town. She buys her bread from Mrs. Pennywhistle. She takes her tea at the tea house, sitting in the same worn chair that generations of Belhaven residents have sat in before her. She walks along the harbor in the evenings, watching the boats come in, watching the fog roll over the water. And every morning and every evening, she climbs the tower. Her ringing improves. Slowly, steadily, like a plant growing toward the light. The bells begin to respond to her, to recognize her touch, to open their voices for her, the way they have opened for Aldrich all these years. One evening, as the sun sinks toward the sea and the light turns to gold, Aldrich makes a decision. Tonight, he says, you will ring the evening bells. Linnea's face goes pale. I am not ready, she says. Aldrich shakes his head. You are ready, he says. You have been ready for days. You are simply afraid. She looks at him, and he sees that he is right. Fear lives in her green eyes. Fear of failing. Fear of not being good enough. Fear is not your enemy, Aldrich says. fears a bell that has not yet been rung. Pull the rope. Listen to what it has to say, and then let it go. Linnea stands there for a long moment. The sun continues its descent. The moment for ringing draws closer, and then, slowly, she nods. "All right," she says. "I will try." Aldrich steps back. He moves to the edge of the bell room, to the arched opening that looks out over the town. He watches the sun. He watches Linnea. She takes her position. Her hands find the ropes. Her breathing slows, deepens, finds the rhythm of the bells. The sun touches the horizon. Linnea begins to ring. Whisper. 3 times. High and clear. Twice. Soft and steady. Sigh. Once long and slow. Aldrich holds his breath. He feels the pattern flowing through her, sees her body moving with the bells, hears the voices rising into the evening air. Hum and breath. 5 times. Weaving together like old friends. Heart. 7 times. Deep and warm and full. And then the moment Aldrich has been waiting for. Home, Linnea reaches for the great rope. Her hands close around it. She pulls. The bell swings. Its voice rises, fills the room, fills the tower, fills the town. It is not perfect. It is slightly unsteady, slightly uncertain. But it is home. It is the voice of returning, of belonging, of rest. And as the sound fades, as the silence returns, Aldrich feels tears on his face. He cannot remember the last time he cried. He turns to Linnea, and he sees that she is crying too. The bells have spoken. The bells have chosen. The future of Belhaven's voice is secure. Chapter 6. The Passing of the Ropes. Spring turns to summer in Belhaven. The fog comes less often, replaced by long golden days and soft warm nights. The sea turns from gray to blue, and the fishing boats stay out later, their catches abundant. Linnea has been in Belhaven for 3 months now. She has moved from the inn to a small cottage near Aldrich's, a cottage that has been empty for years, waiting, it seems, for exactly this moment. She has painted the door a deep blue, the color of the evening sea, and planted herbs in the small garden beside the step. She rings the bells now more often than not. Morning bells, evening bells, the occasional special ringing for a wedding or a festival. Her hands have grown strong and sure on the ropes. Her ears have learned to listen for every nuance of tone and timing. The bells respond to her as if they have known her forever. Aldrich still climbs with her most days. He watches, he listens. He occasionally offers a word of guidance or correction. But more and more, he simply sits in the corner of the bell room, feeling the vibrations move through the old stones, feeling the music that his bells are making under younger hands. It is a strange feeling, letting go. Aldrich had not expected it to be so hard. For 47 years, the bells have been his responsibility, his purpose, his life. Every morning and every evening, rain or shine, health or illness, he has climbed those 112 steps. The bells have been his constant companions, more faithful than any human friend, more reliable than any earthly comfort. And now, slowly, he is releasing them. Not all at once, Not completely, but step by step, ring by ring, he is passing the ropes to Linnea. Some nights, after the evening bells have faded into silence, the two of them sit together in Aldrich's cottage and talk. Linnea asks questions about the history of the bells, about the old patterns that are no longer used, about the mysteries that only a campanologist would know. And Aldrich answers, sharing secrets he has never shared with anyone, knowledge that has been passed down through generations of bell ringers. He tells her about the strange thing that happens on winter solstice nights, when the bells sometimes ring on their own, touched by no human hand. He tells her about the old belief that the bells can sense when someone is about to die and will ring a low, mournful note in the hour before the passing. He tells her about the time, 50 years ago, when a great storm struck Belhaven and the tower swayed but did not fall, protected, people said, by the love of the bells. Linnea listens to everything. She writes it down in a leather-bound journal that she keeps in her cottage, filling page after page with Aldrich's words, preserving the knowledge that might otherwise be lost. One evening, as summer begins to fade toward autumn, Aldrich tells her the last and greatest secret. There is a bell that few know about, he says. A bell that hangs in a chamber beneath the tower, in the foundations, where no one goes. Linnea looks at him with wide eyes. Another bell? She asks. Aldrich nods. It is called the Silent Bell. It has not been rung in over 100 years. It was cast from the same bronze as the other 7, by the same hands, at the same time, but it made for a different purpose. Aldrich is quiet for a long moment. The fire crackles. The clock ticks. The night settles in around them. Finally, he speaks. The silent bell rings only once, he says. At the end, when the last campanologist of a line is ready to pass their work to the next. It is rung once by both ringers together, and then the old ringer's work is done. He looks at Linnea, and his eyes are bright with emotion. I am ready, he says. I have been ready for some time now, but I was waiting for you. I was waiting for the one who would come after me. Linnea reaches across and takes his hand. His skin is papery and thin, marked by age, but his grip is still strong. When? When? She asks. Aldrich smiles. Tomorrow, he says. Tomorrow evening, as the sun sets, we will ring the silent bell together. And then, at last, I can rest. The night passes slowly. Neither of them sleeps much. Aldrich lies in his bed and listens to the silence, thinking about all the mornings he has climbed the tower, all the evenings he has brought the day to a close with the voice of 7 bells. He's not sad, he realizes. He thought he would be sad when this moment came, but instead he feels a kind of peace, a rightness. The bells will go on singing. Belhaven will go on hearing them. And he, Aldrich Thornwood, the last bell ringer of his line, can let go. Morning comes. The fog rolls in, soft and familiar. Aldrich rises and dresses and walks to the tower for the last time as the primary ringer. Linnea is waiting for him at the door. Together, they climb 112 steps. One last time. At the top, Aldrich rings the morning bells. He takes his time with each one, saying goodbye. Whisper, murmur, sigh, hum, breath, heart, home. Each voice rises into the morning air, each one carrying a part of him with it. When the last note of home fades, Aldrich turns to Linnea. Come, he says. Let me show you the silent bell. They descend past the ground floor, down a narrow stairway that Linnea has never seen before. It is cut into the foundations of the tower, spiraling down into the earth. The air grows cooler, damper. The smell of ancient stone fills their nostrils. At the bottom, there is a small chamber. And in that chamber, hanging from a frame of blackened iron, there is a bell. It is not as large as home, but it is larger than any of the others. Its bronze is the darkest Linnea has ever seen, almost black in places, covered with a patina of ages. And carved into its surface, she can see symbols and letters in a language she does not recognize. This is the silent bell, Aldrich says. His voice is hushed, reverent. Touch it. Feel what it has to say. Linnea reaches out. Her fingers brush the cold bronze, and she feels it. A vibration too deep to hear. A voice too ancient to name. The bell has been waiting for this moment, waiting for her. Tonight, she whispers. Tonight, we will ring it. Aldrich nods. Tonight, they climb back up into the light. They spend the day together, walking through Belhaven, visiting the places that Aldrich loves. The harbor, the bakery, the tea house, the small chapel where he married Marin 53 years ago. And as the sun begins its descent toward the western sea, they return to the tower. Together, they climb down to the chamber of the silent bell. The rope is thick and old, worn smooth by hands that have not touched it in a century. Aldrich takes one side. Linnea takes the other. They look at each other in the dim light. Ready? Aldrich asks. Ready, Linnea says. And together they pull. The silent bell speaks. Its voice is unlike anything Linnea has ever heard. It is deep. It is vast. It fills not just the chamber, but the entire tower, the entire town, the entire world. It sounds like an ending. It sounds like a beginning. It sounds like everything that ever was, and everything that ever will be. It rings on and on, a single note that seems to last forever. And as it rings, Linnea feels something pass from Aldrich to her. Not just knowledge, not just skill, but something else, something sacred. The bells are hers now. The tower is hers. The voice of Belhaven is in her hands. The silent bell's voice fades. The echoes die away. The silence that returns is different from any silence Linnea has known before. Aldrich smiles at her. His face is peaceful. His eyes are bright with tears that are not quite sadness. It is done, he says. Thank you, Linnea whispers. For everything. They climb up together, one last time. They emerge into the evening air. The sun has set while they were below. The first stars are appearing in the purple sky. Go, Aldrich says. Ring the evening bells. They are waiting for you. And Linnea climbs 112 steps up into the bell room where 7 bells hang in the starlight, waiting for their new voice. She takes her position. Her hands find the ropes, and she begins to ring. Chapter 7. The Sound of Home. Time passes differently in Belhaven. Days flow into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. The fog rolls in and rolls out. The sea breathes its endless breath. The bells ring at dawn and dusk, as they have always rung, as they will always ring. Aldrich lived for 3 more years after the ringing of the silent bell. 3 peaceful years in his cottage by the tower, listening to Linnea ring his bells, watching the town go about its quiet business, feeling the slow and gentle passage of time. He passed in his sleep on a winter night as the fog wrapped around Belhaven like a blanket. The bells rang 7 times, all on their own, without any human hand to move them. The town woke to the sound and understood. Linnea was the one who found him the next morning. He was in his chair by the window, facing the harbor, a small smile on his face. The fire in his hearth had burned down to ashes, but the room was still warm, as if something gentle had lingered there, keeping watch through the night. She buried him in the small cemetery on the hill above the town, where all of the bell ringers of Belhaven have been buried since the tower was first built. His grave is simple, marked by a stone with his name and the years of his life, and a single word carved beneath. Impanologist. That was 5 years ago now. Linnea Ashworth is the bell ringer of Belhaven. She climbs the tower every morning and every evening. She cares for the bells, oils the ropes, watches over the tower that has become her home. The town has accepted her fully as one of their own. She has begun to teach now. A young man named Simon, the grandson of Mrs. Pennywhistle from the bakery, has shown the calling. He comes to the tower on certain days and learns the way Linnea once learned. He is clumsy still, uncertain, prone to mistakes. But he has the love. He has the patience. The bells speak to him, and he is learning to listen. And so the chain continues. Link by link, voice by voice. The knowledge passes down through generations, through centuries, through ages. The bells of Belhaven will never go silent. Tonight is a quiet night. The fog has settled in, thick and soft, muffling all the sounds of the world. Linnea has just finished the evening bells. She is sitting in the bell room, as she often does after ringing, letting the silence wrap around her. She thinks about Aldrich. She thinks about him often, especially at moments like this. She can feel him here sometimes, in the vibrations of the bells, in the worn smoothness of the ropes, in the way the starlight falls through the arched openings of the tower. He taught her so much. Not just how to ring the bells, but how to listen, how to wait, how to let go. She hopes she is making him proud. The fog moves past the tower, slow and dreamlike. The stars are hidden tonight, but Linnea does not mind. She knows they are there, above the clouds, keeping watch. She rises and makes her way to the stairs. 112 steps down. Her feet know them by heart now. She could walk them in complete darkness, and sometimes she does, on nights when the moon is hidden and the fog is thick. At the bottom, she steps out into the night air. Her cottage is waiting for her, a short walk across the square. The door is the same deep blue. She painted it 5 years ago. The herbs in the garden have grown tall and fragrant. She goes inside. She makes her tea. She sits in her chair by the window, the chair that faces the harbor, though she cannot see the harbor tonight through the fog. She thinks about all the ringers who came before her, all the hands that have touched those ropes, all the hearts that have loved those bells. She is part of something much larger than herself, a chain that stretches back into history and forward into the future, a voice that has spoken through the centuries and will speak for centuries more. The bells of Belhaven whisper and murmur and sigh, hum and breath and heart, out and home, always home. Linnea closes her eyes. She can hear them, even now, even in the silence. The bells are always there, always singing in a key too low for human ears, always waiting to be called upon. Good night, she thinks. Good night, my friends. And somewhere in the dark tower, the bells answer, a shimmer in the air, a whisper of bronze, a promise to be there when dawn comes. The fog moves softly past the windows. The sea breathes in and out, in and out. The town of Belhaven sleeps, wrapped in peace, cradled by the memory of bells. And Linnea Ashworth, the campanologist, the keeper of the voice, drifts towards sleep. Her breathing slows. Her body relaxes. Her mind releases its hold on the waking world. The last thing she hears, just before sleep claims her completely, is the distant murmur of the sea. It sounds like home. It sounds like peace. It sounds like rest. And that is exactly what it is. Chapter 8, The Quiet Hours. Listen now to the sound of nothing happening. The fog has grown thicker. It has filled every corner of Belhaven, every street and alley, every garden and doorway. The town has disappeared into a soft white world, a world without edges, without boundaries, without anything sharp or sudden. In the harbor, the boats rock gently at their moorings. The water makes small lapping sounds against the wooden hulls, a rhythm as old as the sea itself. In the bakery, the ovens are cool. Mrs. Pennywhistle's granddaughter will not light them for hours yet. The flour waits in its bins. The yeast sleeps in its jars. Everything is still. In the tea house, the chairs are empty. The tables are bare. The only sound is the slow tick of the old clock on the wall, measuring out the hours in even, unhurried beats. In the tower, the bells hang motionless. Their bronze surfaces gleam faintly in the darkness. If you were there, if you were standing among them in the quiet hours of the night, you might feel something. A presence, a patience, the sense of 7 voices waiting to sing. But there is no one in the tower now. The door at the bottom is closed. The 112 steps are empty. The bellroom holds only darkness and silence, and the ancient smell of stone and bronze. And in the cottage, at the base of the tower, Linnea sleeps. Her breathing is slow and deep. Her face is peaceful. Her hands, strong hands that pull the ropes each morning and evening, rest quietly on the blanket. She is dreaming. In her dream, she is climbing. Not the tower stairs. Something else. Something higher. She is climbing through clouds, through fog, through layers of soft white nothing. And at the top, waiting for her, there is a sound. The sound of bells. Not the bells of Belhaven. Something older. Something deeper. The bells that rang before it, there were towers to hang them in. Before there were towns to hear them. Before there were people to pull their ropes. The first bells. The bells that taught the world what music meant. In her dream, Linnea reaches the top. She stands in a place that is not quite a place. The fog is all around her, above and below, in every direction. And the bells are there. She cannot see them, but she can feel them. Huge and ancient and patient beyond measure. They begin to ring. The sound fills everything. It fills the fog. It fills the dream. It fills Linnea from the crown of her head to the soles of her feet. It is not loud. It is simply complete. It is the sound of the universe breathing. It is the sound of time passing. It is the sound of all the moments that have ever been gathered together into one eternal note. And in that sound, Linnea hears a voice. Not Aldrich's voice, though he is there somehow, part of the sound, part of the ringing. Not any human voice she recognizes. It is the voice of the bells themselves. The voice they have when no one is listening. The voice they have always had. You are part of us now, the voice says. You will always be part of us. When you are gone, you will live in the bronze. You will sing through the ages. You will never truly end. Linnea understands. In the strange logic of dreams, she understands completely. The bells do not just make sound. They hold it. They keep it. Every voice that has ever rung them, every hand that has ever touched their ropes, every heart that has ever loved them, all of it is there, preserved in the bronze, singing forever in frequencies too low for waking ears to hear. Aldrich is there, and all the ringers before him, and all the ringers before them, stretching back and back and back to the beginning of bells. And someday, Linnea will be there too. The thought does not frighten her. In the dream, wrapped in the sound of ancient bells, it seems right. It seems like the most natural thing in the world. The ringing begins to fade. The dream begins to shift. The fog thins, and Linnea feels herself drifting downward, away from the bells, back toward her sleeping body. She lets the dream carry her, soft as fog, slow as breathing, and as she drifts, the last traces of the bell's voice whisper in her mind. Sleep now. Rest. Morning will come. The bells will ring. The chain will continue. And you, Linnea Ashworth, you are exactly where you belong. She smiles in her sleep. Outside her cottage window, the fog continues its slow dance. The sea continues its eternal breathing. Down of Belhaven continues its deep and peaceful rest. The hours pass, one by one, measured by the tick of clocks, by the rhythm of waves, by the slow turning of the stars behind the clouds. Nothing happens. Nothing needs to happen. The world is exactly as it should be, quiet and still, and full of the kind of peace that only comes in the deep hours of the night. The bells wait in their tower. The ringer sleeps in her cottage. Down dreams its gentle dreams. And morning, when it comes, will find everything exactly as it should be. But morning is still hours away. For now, there's only this, the silence. The slow and endless peace of Belhaven at rest. Let it hold you. Let it carry you. Let it rock you gently, like a boat at anchor, like a child in arms, like a bell waiting to sing. The night is long and soft and full of nothing but peace. And that is exactly as it should be. Chapter 9. Into the silence. The deepest part of the night has arrived. This is the hour when the world holds its breath. The hour when the fog is thickest. The hour when time itself seems to slow down to pause, to rest. In this hour, Belhaven is a town made of dreams. The houses sit like sleeping creatures, their windows dark, their chimneys still. The streets are empty of everything but fog. The shops are locked, their wares resting on their shelves, waiting for morning and customers, and the simple busy work of ordinary days. The harbor is a study in stillness. The boats do not even rock now. The water is perfectly flat, a mirror of gray reflecting nothing. The gulls are silent, tucked somewhere warm, dreaming their gull dreams of fish and flight. And the tower stands at the center of it all, dark and patient, old beyond counting, holding its 7 bells in the silence like a mother holding sleeping children. Linnea does not dream now. She has passed beyond dreaming into the deeper place, the place where sleep is pure and absolute. Her breathing is so slow, it is almost invisible. Her heartbeat is steady and gentle, keeping time with nothing, needing nothing, simply being. This is what peace looks like. This is what rest feels like. This is the gift that the bells give to Belhaven, night after night, age after age. The bells teach the town how to be still, not empty still, like a house with no one in it. Full still, like a cup filled to the brim with water so calm it does not move. The stillness of completion, the stillness of enough. And in this stillness, something happens that no one in Belhaven will ever know about, because no one is awake to see it. The fog thins for just a moment, just a breath, just long enough for the starlight to break through and touch the top of the bell tower. The bells shimmer, just once. A quick flash of bronze catching starlight, and then the fog closes in again. But in that moment, in that shimmer, all 7 bells vibrate. Not enough to make a sound, just enough to feel, if anyone had been there to feel it. Kind of sigh, kind of greeting, a kind of acknowledgement of the night and the stars and the long peaceful hours. The bells are happy. It is a strange thing to say about bells. They are metal. They are bronze and iron and ancient craftsmanship. They do not feel in the way that living things feel. And yet, they have known so many hands, so many hearts, so many centuries of being loved and cared for and climbed toward and wrung. All of that love has seeped into them, atom by atom, year by year. They are not alive, but they are not quite not alive either. They are something in between, something patient, something timed. And tonight, in the deep peace of this silent hour, the bells are happy. They are happy because Linnea is sleeping well. They are happy because the town is at rest, wrapped in fog and quiet. They are happy because Simon will come tomorrow and learn a little more about how to ring them, how to love them, how to carry the chain forward. They are happy because the future is safe. The voice of Belhaven will continue. The bells will ring at dawn and dusk for another generation, and another after that. There is nothing to worry about, nothing to fear, nothing but this moment, this silence, this deep and perfect peace. The fog embraces the tower. The stars shine above the clouds. The sea breathes its endless breath. And somewhere in the depths of her dreamless sleep, Linnea Ashworth feels it. She does not know she feels it. She will not remember it in the morning. But something in her relaxes even further. Something in her lets go of the last small tension she did not know she was holding. She is safe. She is home. She is exactly where she belongs. The night holds her. The bells watch over her. The town sleeps around her like a great gentle creature, breathing slow and deep. This is Belhaven at its most itself. This is the gift it gives to all who live there. This is why people come and stay and never want to leave. Because here, in this quiet place at the edge of the sea, the world makes sense. The days have their rhythm. The bells have their voice. The fog has its dance. And the nights, the long peaceful nights, have their perfect and absolute rest. Let yourself feel it now. Let yourself sink into it. Let the fog wrap around you. Let the silence hold you. Let the distant memory of bells rock you gently, like a lullaby sung too soft to hear, but felt in every cell. The night is deep. The peace is complete. There is nothing left to do but rest. Rest now. Rest well. Rest in the knowledge that morning will come, and the bells will ring, and another day will unfold exactly as it should. But that is later. That is for waking hours. For now, there is only this, the peace. And you, drifting, like Belhaven itself, into the deep and endless rest of the quiet hours. Chapter 10. The sound of morning. Something is changing in the darkness. You cannot see it yet. You cannot hear it. But somewhere, in some deep and ancient part of you, you can feel it. The night is ending. It does not end all at once. It ends the way everything in Belhaven ends. Slowly, gently, without any rush at all. First, the fog begins to thin. Not disappear. Not yet. But thin. Just slightly. Just enough to let the first hints of gray light filter through. The stars fade, one by one, so gradually you would never notice unless you were watching for it. They do not go out. They simply step back, making room for the coming day. The sea begins to move. Not much. Just a slow swell, a gentle rise and fall, as if the water is stretching after a long sleep. The boats in the harbor rock slightly. Their rigging makes soft sounds. And in her cottage at the base of the tower, Linnea stirs. She does not wake. Not yet. But she rises toward waking the way a diver rises toward the surface. Slowly, steadily, feeling the weight of sleep begin to lift. Her breathing changes. It grows slightly faster, slightly shallower. Her fingers twitch on the blanket. She is almost there. Almost back in the waking world. But not yet. Not quite yet. There is still time. Still a few more minutes of rest. Still a chance to float in that warm space between sleeping and waking, where the world is soft and nothing has sharp edges. She floats there, Linnea. She drifts. The dreams have faded, but the peace remains. She is aware, in some distant way, that the morning is coming, that soon she will need to rise, that the bells are waiting for her, patient and silent, ready to greet the day. But that is later. For now, she simply floats. The light grows stronger. The fog thins further. Somewhere, a bird calls once and falls silent again. The world is waking up around her, but there is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Belhaven. The morning comes when it comes. The bells ring when they ring. Everything happens exactly when it is meant to happen, not a moment sooner. Linnea takes a deep breath, the first truly deep breath of the new day. She feels it fill her lungs, feels it spread through her body, feels it wake each part of her gently and gradually. Her eyes flutter, not opened, not yet, but close to opening. The fog outside her window is turning from gray to silver. The first touch of true dawn is reaching over the horizon, painting the edges of the clouds with the palest pink. In a few minutes, Linnea will open her eyes. She will rise from her bed. She will dress and make her tea and walk to the tower door. She will climb those 112 steps as she has climbed them every morning for years. And she will ring the bells. Whisper first, then murmur, then sigh. The pattern will unfold the way it has always unfolded. The town will wake to the sound. The fishermen will head to their boats. The bakers will light their ovens. The tea house will open its doors. Another day in Belhaven will begin. But all of that is still to come. All of that is waiting, just over the horizon, just beyond the last thin veil of sleep. For now, for this one last moment, Linnea rests. She rests in the peace that Belhaven has given her. She rests in the love of 7 bells. She rests in the knowledge that she is part of something ancient and beautiful and true. The morning light touches her window. It falls across her face like a gentle hand. Wake up, it whispers. Wake up, dear one. The day is calling. And slowly, gently, peacefully, Linnea opens her eyes. She looks at the light on the ceiling. She listens to the silence of the fog. She feels the weight of her blanket, the softness of her pillow, the warmth of her bed. And she smiles. Good morning, she thinks. Good morning, Belhaven. Good morning, bells. She does not hurry. She never hurries. She lies there for a while longer, letting the waking settle into her bones, letting the sleep release its last hold. The fog is lifting. The sky is brightening. Somewhere in the harbor, a gull cries, greeting the dawn. And when she is ready, and only when she is ready, Linnea rises to meet the new day. The bells are waiting. They are always waiting. And soon, very soon, they will sing. Chapter 11. And the bells sang on. The bells of Belhaven ring out across the morning. Whisper 3 times, high and clear and bright. Murmur twice, soft and steady. Sigh once, long and slow. The sound spreads through the town like ripples in still water. It touches every house, every street, every sleeping soul beginning to stir. Hum and breath 5 times, weaving together, dancing together, their voices intertwined. Heart, deep and warm, the sound of comfort, the sound of home. And finally, home. The great bell swings. Its voice fills the world. The fishermen look up from their boats. The bakers pause in their work. The old woman in the tea house smiles at the sound she has heard every morning of her long life. This is Belhaven. This is what Belhaven is. Not just a town, not just houses and shops and boats and fog, but this voice, this song, this ancient and eternal music that has called the dawn for centuries. In the bell tower, Linnea lets the last note of home fade into silence. She stands there, hands on the ropes, breathing slowly, feeling the peace that always comes after ringing. Another day has begun. She thinks about Aldrich, as she often does in moments like this. She thinks about his hands, which held these same ropes for 47 years. She thinks about his voice, patient and kind, teaching her everything she needed to know. She thinks about his smile, the day she rang her first complete pattern, the day he knew the bells would be safe. He is with her still. He is always with her, in the ropes and the bronze and the ancient stones of the tower, in the pattern of the bells, in the peace that fills her after every ringing. She thinks about Simon, who will come later today for his lesson. He is getting better, slowly, steadily, the way all bell ringers get better. One day, he will stand here alone, ringing the bells, feeling the same peace. One day, he will teach someone else, and the chain will continue. This is how it has always worked. The bells are bigger than any one ringer. They are bigger than any one lifetime. They stretch backward into history and forward into the future, an unbroken thread of sound and love and service. Linnea releases the ropes. She stands back and looks at her bells. Whisper and murmur and sigh, hum and breath and heart and home, always home. Thank you, she thinks. Thank you for another day. Thank you for letting me be part of this. The bells do not answer. They never answer in words, but something in the air shimmers. Something in the bronze catches the morning light. Something silent and profound moves through the tower. The bells know. They always know. Linnea turns and begins her descent. 112 steps down. Slow and easy. No hurry. Never any hurry. At the bottom, she steps out into the morning. The fog has lifted. The sun is bright. The town is awake and moving, going about its daily business. Mrs. Penny whistle waves from the doorway of her bakery. Old Marcus nods from his bench by the harbor. Young Thomas runs past, chasing a hoop down the cobblestones. Just another morning in Belhaven. Just another perfect, peaceful, ordinary morning. Linnea walks to her cottage. She will make her tea now. She will sit by her window and watch the town and breathe the salt air. Later, she will tend her garden. Later still, she will teach Simon. And this evening, when the sun begins its descent, she will climb again. She will always climb. As long as she can climb, she will. And when she cannot climb anymore, someone else will. Simon, or someone after him. The chain will continue. The bells will ring. The voice of Belhaven will never fall silent. This is the promise. This is the gift. This is the meaning of being a campanologist, a keeper of bells. a ringer of ancient bronze. You are part of something larger than yourself, something that was here before you were born and would be here after you are gone. Something that matters, something that lasts. Linnea opens her cottage door. She steps inside. The morning light fills the room. She puts the kettle on. She stands by the window. She looks out at the harbor, at the boats, at the sea stretching out to the horizon. And she smiles. This is her life. This is her purpose. This is her home. And it is good. It is so very, very good. The day unfolds before her, full of small tasks and simple pleasures, full of nothing much happening, which is exactly what should happen in Belhaven. And somewhere above, in the dark tower, the bells rest. They have sung their morning song. They will sing their evening song. And in between, they will wait, patient and peaceful, ready when they are needed. This is the way of bells. This is the way of Belhaven. This is the way of all things that are ancient and true and good. The campanologist goes about her day. The town goes about its business. The sea breathes in and out, as it has always breathed. And the bells hang in their tower, dreaming their bronze dreams, waiting for evening, waiting for their next song. They will ring again. They always ring again. That is all they know. That is all they need to know. And it is enough. It is more than enough. It is everything. And so we come to the end. Not the end of Belhaven. Belhaven has no end. It will go on, fog and sea and bells, long after we have forgotten this story. Not the end of the bells. The bells will ring forever. They will call the dawn and close the day until the tower crumbles to dust, and perhaps even after that, in some way we cannot understand. Not the end of Linnea or Simon or any of the ringers who will come after. They are part of something eternal now. Their hands will touch the ropes in every future ringing. Their love will live in the bronze. No, this is simply the end of our time together. The end of this night. The end of this story. And what a gentle end it is. You are floating now, if you have been listening, floating on the sound of bells that have faded into silence, floating on the fog that has lifted into morning, floating on the rhythm of words that have wrapped around you like a soft blanket. There's nothing left to do, nothing left to hear, nothing left to feel but peace. The town of Belhaven is going about its day. The campanologist is drinking her tea. The bells are resting in their tower. Everything is exactly as it should be. And you can rest now too. Let your breathing slow. Let your body relax. Let every muscle release, every thought dissolve, every worry fade away like morning fog. You are safe. You are warm. You are at peace. The bells have sung you to sleep, the way they have sung so many to sleep before you, the way they will sing so many to sleep after you. There is a place where the sea meets the land so gently that you cannot tell where one ends and the other begins. The water there moves like breathing, in and out, in and out. And there is a town at the edge of that water, a quiet town, a peaceful town, a town where bells ring at dawn and dusk, calling the world to stillness. You are there now, in some way, in the place between waking and sleeping. in the soft space where stories live after they are told. You are in Belhaven. You are at rest. The fog wraps around you like a blanket. The sea rocks you gently, like a mother with a child. The bells whisper their ancient lullaby, too soft to hear, but felt in every cell. Sleep now, rest well, dream of fog and bells and quiet harbors. Dream of climbing old towers and ringing ancient bronze. Dream of being part of something beautiful and true. The night will hold you. The peace will keep you. The bells will watch over you until morning comes. And when you wake, you will carry Belhaven with you. A small piece of its peace. A distant echo of its bells. A memory of stillness that will stay with you through all your busy days. But that is for later. That is for waking. For now, for these last few moments before sleep takes you completely, there is only this: the end of a story, the beginning of rest, the sound of 7 bells fading into silence, and you drifting, peaceful, home. Good night. Good night, dear listener. Sleep well. The bells will be here when you wake. They are always here. They are always singing, even in the silence, even now. Good night.